sports betting, fantasy football, and the latest NFL news. Featuring Loud Esmond and Christian Giordani. Bet on us to make you a better bettor.
What?
It's time to hit the pick.
Welcome to Hit the Pick, the best 30 minutes for your betting advice, NFL news, and everything else. I'm Christian Giordani, joined alongside Loud Esmond and Sniper West. How you guys doing today?
Doing fantastic. Doing great.
Great to actually have you here, Christian.
Yes, I have been gone on an extended vacation. I am back. Good to see you guys again. Crazy week in the NFL. Preseason starting next week. We got some MLB picks. We got some fighting picks. Loud, what do you got for us today?
Preseason started last night, and I went 2-0, by the way. I was on the over and the Chargers money line. So, and I get extra points for the Chargers money line because they were a 2.5-point dog.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, yours truly went 0-1. I was on the under. I'm a big preseason under guy. Love betting unders in preseason. Does that mean I bet every single game under? No. I just look for good under spots, especially, with these second and third stringers. Sometimes they just can't complete a pass. They can't get a first down.
Yeah,
so that's always something I watch for.
I'm generally with you, generally sort of more under than over in preseason games, especially because you used to be able to count on that. The first two games, they weren't really going to play anybody. In the third game, they'd play at least one half of the starters. And in the fourth game, they wouldn't play anybody. So you sort of knew, all right, this is what's going to go down. Well, teams have really not settled into a rhythm that everybody agrees on. And so you got to pay a lot closer attention to the beat writers for the various teams, as far as them picking up from the coach who's going to be playing. And the reason I was on the over last night was because Trey Lance was going to get the whole first half.
Yeah.
And Harbaugh was going to start some of his starting offensive players because they wanted to get a look at what Trey Lance was. And he played great.
Yeah, he did.
That was a revelation to me. That he looked like a completely different player. He wasn't in a hurry to run out of the pocket. He threw some nice touch passes, especially that second touchdown was a beautiful throw. Good for him. Maybe he can resurrect his career. He was the third overall pick, and flamed out with two teams. So,
also, you got to remember he's only 25 years old too. He's still young. I think he was 19 or 20 when he got drafted. So he came in very young. Maybe the moment was too big for him to start out. But, I think that going to the Chargers, going to a Harbaugh-run team, playing with that offense, maybe being tutored by Herbert a little bit, I think it'll be good for him.
Yeah, no, he looked good. Christian, you've got NFL news you want to get to.
Yeah, we got some NFL news, probably the biggest one of the day. Micah Parsons today tweeted on X that he has officially requested a trade from the Dallas Cowboys due to the halt in their conversation talks with a contract extension. Loud, I know you're a big guy on they go for the trade clause and then they go for a requested trade and they stay with the team. Do you think Micah's going to stay in Dallas?
They own the rights to him. They can franchise tag him if they want twice. You don't trade a blue chip young pass rusher. I just don't see it happening, but it could get ugly. Parsons seems upset, and he did say that Jerry Jones kind of tried to pull a fast one on him. He thinks like they were having a conversation, and Jones portrayed it like, okay, well, we've got a contract structure in place, and he's like, no, dude, you got to talk to my agent. I was just spitballing with you, and he kind of felt like maybe Jerry was trying to play him. So, who knows? There may be some hard feelings. But let's face it, Wes, the record with these guys usually is, we've seen it a couple times recently. He was going to leave the Browns, and then he stayed for the bag. There's a lot of players that have made these threats and ended up staying. Terry McLaurin, I don't know if that gets done in Washington. That's one that I think they're far apart on because the team is simply saying we're not paying an extended contract with 30-year-old wide receiver.
Yeah.
And he is insisting that he gets the same type of contract that, say, DK Metcalf just got with the Steelers.
Yeah.
So that one could get ugly. And if that does, that really hurts the Commanders if he's not there. That's bad for them.
100%. Absolutely. Going back to Micah Parsons. So his dad, he grew up in Pennsylvania. Obviously, he went to Penn State. But his father was actually a huge Dallas Cowboy fan. So he grew up in a household that watched the Dallas Cowboys every Sunday. And it was his father's dream that he plays for the Cowboys. So you got to think that maybe that will play a little part in the whole thing too. Also, remember you were talking about Myles Garrett also. But if you remember Le'Veon Bell, he infamously held out for almost an entire season, left millions of dollars on the table. And then they finally just got rid of him and he went to the Jets and he was never the same player. I mean, missing 1 year of playing football in your prime when you're in your mid-20s, late 20s, sometimes you can't bounce back from it. Football's a game where it's a very physical game, but you need to continue to play it through your prime or else you might lose a step. So,
well, there's a couple of Raiders players that actually benefited from getting a full year off. Marcus Allen and Jim Plunkett.
Yeah.
Both. The Allen, that was a bad contract situation. And also Allen just questioning Davis's decision-making in terms of personnel for the team. And Davis, remember, said, I'm going to keep paying his contract, but he's not playing. He wasn't allowed in the building for a year. He was under contract to the Raiders to play running back. They had won the Super Bowl, and Davis sat him for a season.
Yeah.
Then he went and played for the Kansas City Chiefs for 4 more years and looked really good.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then Jim Plunkett, remember, he had the blank beat out of him playing for the lousy Patriots and 49ers when the 49ers were bad in the 70s. And he was so physically beat up that, Davis said, you're not playing for a year. Just carry a clipboard. And that's what he did. And then a year later in the 4th game, Pastorini breaks his leg and Plunkett takes the team to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, Le'Veon Bell, I also think Le'Veon Bell was a bit of a head case because, the rapping and I want to be in movies and all the other stuff with him. Right, Christian?
Yeah, he also has quite an extensive career in pornography now. So he is a little out of it, in my opinion, as well.
So we've seen Le'Veon's Bell.
Yes, we've seen Le'Veon's Bell.
Okay, good to know.
The Scary Terry situation, it does kind of suck for Washington, though, because, Jaden Daniels was looking forward to coming in and not having that sophomore slump, and this could very well be the thing that sets him right into the sophomore slump. So,
by the way, I handicapped the Pac-2 today on the website, which was painful, by the way. Of course, David Delano assigns me that. Thanks, pal.
Hey, it's only 2 teams, though, so it's not much work.
Well, no, it's 2 teams, but they're playing a bunch of random teams from all over the country. Yeah. I mean, if you map their travel schedule, they're all over the damn country. They're in Texas. They're playing at Villanova. They're on the East Coast. They're down south. They're in the Midwest. They're all over the place. Both teams, the Cougars of Washington and the Beavers of Oregon, which something Le'Veon Bell would know about, apparently. So, it's crazy. Sam Houston State, JMU. They're playing a crazy schedule. So it's just going to be nuts to watch. And both teams got completely gutted by the portal. And they both have new coach. It's a mess. It's an absolute hot mess.
Well, isn't correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't a lot of the teams from the Mountain West going to be going to that Pac-2 next year?
That's what they're saying, but nothing's set in stone yet.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows what happens? But it's
there's so much change in college football these days, you can't even keep up with it.
No, I actually had a really hard time getting my mind around how to even handicap it, but I got through it. And thanks, David. Anyway. All right, let's talk a little bit of sports betting. Do you have anything tonight or tomorrow or Sunday that you've just got to get out there?
Well, I'll throw you a baseball game out here for tonight. I do like the Cardinals and the Padres. I'm taking them under tonight, and I got it 7.5, but I got it yesterday. I don't know if it's still sitting at 7.5, but you get Libator and Pavetta here. Matthew Libator, He's had a decent season. It's a 4.04 ERA, 127 WHIP. So he does keep his team in the game, and he's had really good outings. Just every once in a while, the top falls off. Nick Pivetta, he's looked really good. 6 starts in a row. He's given up 2 or fewer earned runs. And I'm going to roll the under. If you remember San Diego, they've been playing to the under all year. They're 44 overs and 62 unders. So, I mean, they're hitting under at like 60, 65%. A lot of it has to do with that ballpark, right at sea level, right on the ocean. So the ball doesn't carry all that well. I'm going to go under 7.5 runs tonight between the Cardinals and the Padres.
Gotcha. Okay. Any Canadian football tomorrow you like?
Yeah, you know what? I can talk about that a little bit. I have premiums on all the stuff, but I don't mind just giving you my thoughts. So regarding Friday, that's tonight. Actually, this game kicks off in 15 minutes if you guys want a quick play. But it's the Toronto Argonauts and Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They are playing in literally 15 minutes as of me telling you this research right now. But it's a quick turnaround. These two teams played each other last week, so it's a rematch. And Toronto won the game 31-17. That was Toronto's 4th straight head-to-head win against Winnipeg. So, and they're 6-1 against the spread too. Toronto, they have struggled a little bit this year, but I like Toronto again. I don't think there's any reason that they should not cover this number. They were getting 4 points, and I got them at +4. It's come down to +3. I still like them at +3, but I'm glad I got ahead of the line move. So I like Toronto plus the points here tonight in about 15 minutes over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
All right. Again, I'm on this Kansas City Royals, who have just been on a tear lately. I don't follow baseball that closely, but for me, Friday night, there's nothing else on. I looked up some stats and went, okay, I like this game, so that at least I have a game on that I'm watching that I'm interested in during cocktail hour. And yeah, I'm up 5-1. The Royals got to the pitcher in the 3rd inning and hung a 3-burger on him after a 2-run home run in the 2nd. The Toronto Blue Jays actually scored first. It was 1-0. And I actually thought about doubling down at that point and putting more money on the Blue Jays. And I went, nah, I don't know baseball that well enough, so I'm just going to wait. I should have. Looks like I could have won both, but there we are on my baseball bet for the night. We'll talk NFL preseason betting in general in just a minute, but I went through and gave an over-under for every team, and you can catch those, all 32 teams over-unders in a single video, in videos over the last 32 days that I did. And then over this weekend, you will get a video where I give out just a recap of all my best bets for divisions. And Wes, you'll like this. I only have 2 overs and 6 unders.
Yeah.
Because if there are a lot of teams that they are 1 injury away from not making their over. The Chiefs, definitely. Patrick Mahomes, the Bills, Josh Allen, Ravens, Lamar Jackson, Commanders, Daniels. I mean, almost every team in the NFL, if they have a catastrophic injury to their quarterback, they're not making their over number anymore. So, absolutely. And you see what happens with teams like the 49ers, who last year, I mean, man, they had so many injuries, I can't even remember them all. And they ended up only winning 6 games. By the way, they're favored to win the NFC West. Barely, like 150, and I think the Rams are like 165. But the 49ers have the easiest. This is interesting to me. The NFL doesn't do a lot of things by accident. They're pretty good at marketing. And the 49ers have the easiest schedule in the NFL. The combined winning percentage of the teams that they're playing this year is 4-1-5, below 50%. They have the easiest schedule in the NFL this year. And they have 5 primetime games. Now tell me that the NFL would not put a team in 5 primetime games that they do not believe will be chasing the playoffs and may make a deep run.
Definitely. When you told me that, my first thought was well, how do the Houston Texans not have the easiest schedule? Because they get to play the Jags twice, the Titans twice, and the Colts twice, right? That's, not exactly gimmies, but those are 6 relatively not so hard games. But yeah, no, the NFL knows what it's doing. I think there's a game on Christmas again this year. I remember last year the Chiefs played on Christmas and it was a Wednesday. It's the first time in the history of the league there was a game on Wednesday. So yeah, no, they definitely know what they're doing. I do like the Rams.
49ers opponents: Seahawks, Saints, Cardinals, Jaguars. Okay, so Seahawks, Saints, Cardinals at 49ers. All 3 of those games are winnable. Jaguars at 49ers. They'll be 4-0. Then they play at the Rams, at Buccaneers, but then they're back home for the Falcons, the Texans. Then they're at Giants. The Giants suck. Then Rams at 49ers. Then at Cardinals. Then they get the Panthers, the Browns, the Titans, and the Colts.
Yeah. Getting to play the AFC South and the NFC South definitely helps their case. But you got to keep in mind.
Close out the season with the Bears at the 49ers and the Seahawks at the 49ers. I think from that November 16 game against the Cardinals, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight wins.
Yeah, it could definitely happen. Keep in mind, though, the Rams, they get almost that same schedule because they're playing the same 2 conferences, right? And then they got to play each other, obviously, which will be really good games.
But the 3 teams that they don't have in common, the Rams have much harder opponents.
Okay, there you go.
So that's the difference there. All right, let's talk divisions. Bets that I won't be making. Bills minus 285 for the reason I just said. Allen gets hurt. They don't win that division. Texans plus 110. Not enough juice for me to put money on a team that I just don't think is that great. Lions plus 150. I'm not sure the Lions. That's a competitive division, and Green Bay could take them. The Vikings could come out of nowhere. I don't believe in the Bears at all, but the Lions, 2 new coordinators, let's see. And then the 49ers plus 160 with the Rams only plus 165. I don't feel good about that because the Rams could beat them out. So those are the ones I'm staying away from. Now, here's the ones I like. Ravens minus 145. I don't think there's a chance in hell they don't win that division because even if Lamar misses a few games, the Ravens have proven they can win with backup quarterbacks on defense. They win with defense in those games. And then the Broncos plus 325 in the AFC West. The Commanders plus 210. People, I think, are underestimating how much the Eagles lost on defense. And the defense won that Super Bowl because they put Patrick Mahomes on his ass. And then the Falcons plus 225. I love the Buccaneers with Baker Mayfield. They have a great defense, but they did lose a little on offense. And, does Mayfield continue the magical resurgence? I don't know. And I think I love watching Michael Penix at Washington. I watched every game he played because I'm here in the Pacific Northwest. That guy can spin it. And he's a great character kid. He played well. They scored a lot of points and lost some games on defense when he played at the end of the season. I think the Falcons have a chance to win the division. So here's how my bet is going to go down. I'm going to bet $160 at the minus 145. And I win $115 plus my 160, which gives me a total win of 275 if the Ravens win that division. Then I'm going to put $35 on the Broncos at plus 325. That pays me 113 plus the 35 if that wins. $50 on the Commanders. That pays me 105 plus the 50 if that wins. And if the Falcons win at plus 225 at $50, that pays me 112 plus the $50. If I hit the Ravens only, I make almost all my money back.
There you go. Yeah, it's like you said, they play defense and they run the ball, right? That's the Harbaugh way. But whether it's Jim or John, that's what they do. The Bengals in that division, they got to get off to a better start this year. I think I heard a stat that Joe Burrow is something like 1-9 in his first 2 weeks in the NFL in his career. So they got to do whatever they can to start. Because I've been actually watching that Netflix quarterback series, and they played well.
Scott Steamroller sure hated on him after watching that series.
Yeah, I like Joe Burrow. Honestly, the series paints him in a pretty good light. So I don't. Maybe Scott just doesn't like him because he always plays Patrick Mahomes.
Well, they beat the Chiefs.
Yeah,
it's Burrowhead over there, man.
But
by the way, you're seeing the Notre Dame shirt. This is the most beautiful Notre Dame hat. I saw this online and had to have it. The dark blue on the gold, just like the shirts. I've never seen a hat just like that. So I'm gearing up for the season. I got my Notre Dame gear coming in. I got my Buffalo Bills gear coming in. I got my Alligator Alcatraz shirt. I'm sorry. That's a whole different subject matter. And so here's what I love about this bet. If the Ravens win that division and nothing else comes in, okay, I make almost all my money back except for like $5. And it was entertaining. Because believe me, it'll make the season a lot more interesting to watch if I have these 4 bets out there, right?
Yeah, I agree.
But if the Ravens win and anybody else wins, or a couple of them win, that's a nice score right there. And let's keep in mind, every year there's like 2 teams that are not favored to win the division then. So there's going to be a couple teams because, I mean, honestly, you could just call it right now. Otherwise, you could say, okay, well, here's what it's going to be. It's going to be Chiefs, Texans, Bills, Ravens, Lions, 49ers, Eagles, Buccaneers.
Yeah.
That's it.
If it were that easy.
It's that easy, but it never is. Injuries, weird things happen. On average, 2 teams, I looked this up today, 2 teams out of 8 every year win the divisions who are not favored to win the divisions. The question is, who are the 2 going to be?
Yeah. A lot of times injuries come into play too, if the favorite.
Yeah, injuries are huge.
Down. Yeah, so I agree
by
with
the way, coming up Thursday night, we've got to talk about these because they'll be over by the time we come on next Friday. And by the way, Sniper West and Christian are here with us now the whole NFL season going forward. Indianapolis Colts at Ravens. It's plus 1.5 to the Colts. Over under is 34.5. Money line is only plus 102 for the Colts. I'm going to be in the Colts on the money line in that game, and here's why. Harbaugh was the king of preseason up until 2023. Since 2023, he has lost his last 5 preseason games, and he has 0-7 against the spread. It's like he had a total mind shift change. And the Colts, Anthony Richardson, they're going to want to see Richardson and Danny Dimes play. And let's face it, they're both not great, but they are better than most quarterbacks that will be playing in the preseason. So I'll be on the Colts on the money line in that game. You?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. They want to see what Danny Dimes can do if he's going to be the turnover machine that he has normally been. That's a crazy stat about Harbaugh because, you can usually count on him winning every preseason game. So that's crazy. I did not know that. But I agree with your Colts take. I like that. I do like the under. I like the man. All these totals is crazy, man. It's 34.5, 35.5, 35.5, 33.5. It's just these odds makers think that the games are going to be low scoring. They're probably right. I would bet. I'd make a side bet with you that these unders hit at about maybe 56, 57% for the preseason.
Ravens coach John Harbaugh had a 24 game winning streak in the preseason that ended in 2023. Since then, they've lost 4 of their last 5 preseason games and are 0-7 against the spread.
Maybe he's been betting on the other team.
No, I think he just completely changed his philosophy. Bengals take on the Eagles. The Bengals are plus 1.5. This is at Philly. I believe that the Bengals are going to play Joe Burrow in the preseason. And I'm going to be on the Bengals in this game on the money line plus 105.
Yeah, like I said earlier, they need to get off to a better start, and that starts in preseason. They need to start actually playing well in preseason so that rolls over into the regular season. So
usually they don't play Burrow or any of the starters at all. I think he's going to take a completely different tack.
Yeah.
And then the Raiders play the Seahawks. The teams I love the most in preseason is because teams that suck in the regular season do really well in the preseason. And my preseason best bet teams: Raiders, Browns, Jets, Steelers, Colts, Chargers. Those are my preseason best bets. Raiders, Browns, and the Jets, they're going to try to win in the preseason because they need to sell tickets. The Steelers, good backup quarterbacks, good defense, depth. Colts, we're going to have that QB battle. Chargers, Harbaugh hates to lose. So those are my teams to bet on. You want to fade the Commanders, the Ravens, the Rams, the Vikings, and the Eagles.
Yeah. Also, too, with the Cleveland quarterback situation, those will probably be some interesting games to watch.
Oh, yeah, you're going to have those guys.
1 minute.
Yeah, they're going to be trying. Shador's going to be trying hard. Dylan Gabriel's going to be trying hard. Kenny Pickett. So those could be some interesting games to watch. And Cleveland might not be a bad bet either for preseason for all three of their games.
In the the terrible teams. And I do not believe the hype about the Raiders. Sorry, they suck. They're always going to suck. They're going to keep being suckiness. Christian, take us out.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to Hit the Pick. Make sure to go to hitthepick.com. Sign up today and receive high confidential words with 100% free, delivered daily with none of that BS from any of the other websites. Thank you, guys.
And don't forget to go check out the